Hi guys, it's Crimsyn, and I forgot to film a little intro bit kind of introducing myself, and I'm kind of going in and starting this makeup already, so let's get into it. I'm putting concealer on my eyebrows here, and I'm kind of blending it out, not super sharp, because I didn't want to spend so much time creating these super sharp eyebrows and then clean them up with the white paint on the bottom and the foundation on the top. It just seems like it wastes so much time. So I just kind of blend them out with a self-setting concealer and it seems to work. I'm creating a base here for my eyeshadow with white paint, and I'm really focusing on the super sharp lines. I'm taking that white paint and I'm also bringing it onto my forehead here. It's gonna blend out and help ombre my brows and highlight my forehead as well. And then just applying my foundation on my forehead and taking a very sharp brush and cleaning up the tops of the brows with the foundation color. Look at that cut. Alright, now moving on, we have to set everything, so I'm just using a Coty Airspun powder and patting everything down carefully because I don't want anything on my eyebrows to move. I want to keep the line super sharp. Now I'm going on to eyeshadow here. Now I'm using very light tapping motions when I'm putting the product on, and it's going to help get into your eyebrow cover. So the issue I have sometimes with blending is that you can kind of see the eyebrow hairs from the eyebrow cover, and if you're using a patting motion, it's going to help get into those hairs and settle all the color into the creases. And then I'm just going to go ahead and shade that in with a little bit of black, and then you'll see a little bit later that I'll take kind of a middle red and blend out the light red and the black together and really blend it all together to make it cohesive. Now the reason I paint my face in this order is I kind of do like a top-down painting method because I'm trying to prevent any type of fallout that I might get from this heavy shadow that I do. Now I'm going to go ahead and prime my skin here. I use 2 primers. I usually don't prime my skin. This is very new to my routine. I didn't really believe in it, but I found these 2 primers from NYX Cosmetics and they create this smooth tacky surface, and it helps the Krylon paint stick glide on so much easier. Now I'm gonna apply a beard cover right after this. I'm gonna blend it out and set it with some powder. Then I'll go into my Krylon paint stick, but you'll be able to see how smoothly it glides on. Before, it took so much pressure and power to like skate it across my skin, and it was so heavy. But look, it's pretty smooth. It's not picking up my skin too much. I mean, you can see a little bit, but that's pretty good for a Krylon paint stick. They're usually not that soft. Then I'm gonna take a dry sponge. I used to do a wet sponge, but with this heavy foundation, to really move it around and blend it around, you're gonna want an actual dry sponge for this. And then I'm going in with a contour stick, a couple shades darker than I usually do. It could be a little darker. This is more of like a bronzing, I feel like. And then I'll go in with my 00 white stick and really highlight. Now I love highlighting in a triangle. You get the sides of the nose, you get the top upper lip, you get the chin, and you get the smile lines. Those are so important. And then you'll get the bridge of the nose, and it really makes this triangle in your face that's nice to look at. Then taking the sponge, using the back side to blend out the contour, and then you'll see that I use the top side to blend out the highlights of the face. Now you want to make sure everything is super blended out, and then take your setting powder and set your entire face. You don't have to go too heavy with the powder here. I know people love the dramatics of setting their face with all the crazy powder. Now I go into blush. Now I love contouring my face with blush. My name is Crimsyn, so I love to tie that into my face any way I can, and using some sort of red warm tinted blush to really carve out my face. I'm a big fan of the supermodels wearing like the half face of blush, like this crazy blush on the runway, and that's really what inspired this. Then just using a very large fluffy brush here with bronzer, I'm buffing out any sort of edges that the blush may have and also giving my face some dimension with bronzer. Now I continue this bronzer onto my nose because I don't believe in dark contours on my nose. I think your nose should be brighter since it's in the middle of your face, and your contours should be left for your cheeks, your forehead, your chin, and stuff like that, and your nose should just stay brighter than the rest of your face for sure. I mean, it protrudes out more. Why would you use those dark contours on your nose? Then I really go into one of my favorite parts here. I've been such a fan of drawing on these crazy creases, any sort of design that really enhances the character that I'm portraying or the outfit that I'm making. I take this white liner and I'm going to create these like angular like triangle things that are going to go all over my eye. I also cut the bottom of my brow. I love a sharp white highlight under the brow. I feel like it really pops on stage. So a little backstory on why I do these crazy creases is I found that my brow bone is so heavy that when I would do like a normal cut crease or I would do like cat eye liner, I would always get this weird curve because the liner would have to go around my brow bone before it hit my eye, and it was so annoying to do. The only way I found around it was covering my whole eye in eyeliner, and I didn't want to do that. So I found that just blending out eyeliner to nothingness, just kind of into your eyeshadow, and then painting on some fun design that kind of represents liner but also represents a crease in some way too. Here I'm just baking with some Coty Airspun powder. I like it because it has flashback in it, so I really want to bake with that powder and kind of emphasize the highlights of my face. And then I'm just going in with some dark eyeliner here. I found this is like Maven Beauty. This is the Fashion Nova brand. I was so suspicious of like makeup from Fashion Nova, but this eyeliner like is the bomb. I use it all the time now, and I just make a little pizza slice triangle with my eye. And we are moving on to bottom eyeshadow here, just blending out the same colors and then going in with a tiny brush with black along the edges of my eye and really buffing and blending everything together here. I feel like you can really see here how this like graphic doodle crease eyeliner moment really looks like eyeliner and kind of complements my eye shape, and you can really see how weird my brow bone is and really interrupts my eye. And I also create this little white triangle on the inside of my eye. Now, people always talk about what is the most transformative aspect of drag in your makeup, and you really start feeling the fantasy. And I believe this little white triangle really does it for me. It really transforms my eye. My eyes are so like sad looking as a guy and without makeup on, and this really points them downward and snatches my eye up from the inside. And I'm just taking that liner and rounding out my eye and tracing everything out, making sure it looks clean. Then I'm gonna go on to lips. Now I think lips were probably the hardest thing for me to learn. I've tried so many different shapes and they were just so weird looking. But I think, you know, the thing I stuck to was just drawing on my lips and then just exaggerating the middle. So making the Cupid's bow very prominent and arched, and then just taking the bottom and swooping it down in the middle a bit more. I don't like the extensions on the side. I have these smile lines that really interrupt any sort of extension I will do if I try to bring my mouth wider. So now we're just going to move into a highlighter here. I love using a white and a red highlight because you can really blend it into the blush and it gives your cheek so much dimension. And then just poking a little dot of highlight on the tip of my nose, and then I'm also going to do it between my eyes and a little bit down the bridge. So I'm really bringing that highlight to the nose so it really pops out of my face. So next comes the super fun part, is covering my face in rhinestones, and then I'll go into lashes after this. So I put a little bit of rhinestones on my eye, and I didn't realize later until I started putting the full costume on is I needed a million more rhinestones. So you see a little bit here, but then later on in the final, you'll see that I have rhinestones all the way out to my ear. It goes crazy. But here you can see I'm just angling my eyelashes upwards, and they're super spiky, and I use mink lashes to kind of curl up on my brow bone to kind of hide behind my big old brow bone. And that is the full tutorial. I know it's a little short. I'll go into more detail on later things, but let's get into the final look. Now this is the full final look, the full transformation. I really enjoyed this like vampy queen, succubus type character that I've created. I hope to bring you more content here on YouTube. Tell me what you would like to see in the comments. And if you don't already follow me, go ahead and check out my social medias. Everything is crimsyn.co. And then I just launched my Patreon, and that's just @Crimsyn.